Why would you want to make... why would you want to make homemade Oreos? Hello everybody, it's Barry here. Hope you are well wherever you are in the world. I am a little bit gutted today. Let me tell you a sad story. Yesterday I did a video that took over 8 hours to do. In fact, this is what I used in the video. Would probably make no sense to you whatsoever, but basically this diagram is me attempting 6 different combinations along with vegan alternatives to find the ultimate perfect homemade Oreo. The final video alone, the Patreon vlog club version, would have been nearly 2 hours. The final video was gonna be like a proper project thing, half an hour long. Long story short, there's this other video that I've been working on. Really could do with some shine right now, people. And I needed to get one extra little bonus scene. And as I did it, the microphone ran out of battery, so it was just no audio on it. And I was just going, so I thought, okay, I'll just delete that footage. So I erased my memory card. I erased all of the footage. So I don't wanna do that again. And the good news for you is I absolutely nailed homemade Oreos. It's gonna make me look like some sort of Oreo wizard because I did all this experimentation yesterday. Went completely crazy with Oreos being vegan. I used an egg replacement and dairy-free alternatives with butter, and it was just really, really cool. And I'm gutted I lost the footage, but now I can just be like, this is how you make them. There are so many different versions available in the shop. Here's just a handful. I'm gonna make all of these today. We've got golden ones, which are kind of like more of a vanilla-y biscuit. You got your classic ones. You got your double filling ones, which I think are pretty much the ones that they used to be. They've just kind of take more filling out these days. And you got these birthday ones as well, which have got a caramel filling and sort of like sprinkles on. Easy to make, we'll do all of those. The biscuit doesn't completely be that sweet when you bite into it. There's a slight, not bitterness, but like an enhanced cocoa-ness, and that's what we focus on. This one is the birthday one, which should have, there you go, you can see a few little sprinkles embedded in it, and it has a caramel flavoured icing, which of course we'll do. And the golden ones are literally exactly the same, except there's no cocoa in it. So we can easily, make those. Doing this step already is reminding me that like yesterday, I washed up my bowls. I had about 20 glass bowls, and I went through 3 batches. I think, yeah, 60 bowls, must have been. The washing up was epic. So this is icing sugar. This is some good quality vanilla extract. If you want to be really naughty, you could do vanilla bean pods. Quite expensive though. A pinch of salt. I love how I want to do a pinch of salt. It's something so grand on the shot, and I'm just like, pinchy pinch, but it does make a massive difference, especially if you add it to melted chocolate. I learned that this year. This is the most important step, okay? Here is some cream cheese, and we need about 90 grams of it, so roughly 3 ounces, but only add it in a little bit at a time. If you add too much moisture, which is why we're making it ahead, so it can stand and oxidize. Is that the right word? I don't know. But you know how you leave something to stand, it slowly dries out? Just that's why we're doing that first before the dough. Actually, one bonus point is that yesterday when I did this scene, the icing sugar went everywhere. It was crazy. But you can see how that cream cheese is still in lumps right now. So you want to really break that down before getting tempted to add any more. Because if you make this too wet, it's basically going to be like a buttercream icing. You want it to be dry. So really do take your time here and make sure it's all pressed in. And when I was making the icing sugars yesterday, I dumped some in and it was like this huge avalanche of icing sugar, and I was legitimately choking on it. It was just like, it's quite funny, but you'll never see it. Okay, not sure if you can see, it's starting to clump now. Only add more when you think that it's all fully incorporated, okay? Because it's starting to join now, this is what we want. So if you're gonna add any more, only add like little teaspoons of it. It's painstaking, but honestly, you don't want that filling oozing out. So I'll see you in a minute to show you what we want. Right, hopefully you can see it there. That is the texture after, so it's maneuverable. I had to mix it a little bit longer just to make it smooth, but that is perfect. So we're gonna put this over there to oxidize, which of course I think is the completely wrong phrase, but what I mean is kind of leave it out like the kids do when they leave their dinner at night before washing it up. It just kind of goes dry, and that does hopefully take a teeny bit of moisture out. But the birthday ones have a caramel filling. Let's quickly make a caramel. All right, get your hob, medium-low flame with a pan, shimmy in some sugar. Try your best not to stir it and agitate it too much, and it will go from this golden Narnia-esque landscape to Mordor. So it's off the heat, but there's still the residual heat from the hob where it was hot, right? This is where it gets a little crazy. Drop in some butter and a good heap in of the cream cheese. you add a pinch of salt to that, you can have a salted caramel. Ooh. And I'm actually quite happy with that, doing that shot again, because hopefully it was in focus. Yesterday when I did it, it was completely blurred. All right. Are you deliberately hiding behind the cow, or is that how...
Well, yeah, because I'm carrying our pants. I'm sorting out the washing.
So all we do, I'm not going to make many of these. We'll just take, I don't know, like a heaped tablespoon. As you can see, quite firm and oxidizing. But for a tablespoon of the filling, I'm probably only going to need like half a teaspoon of that at the most. And you can actually buy a caramel flavoured extract as well if you want to save the hassle. And that is a caramel flavoured filling for our birthday one. In terms of the dough, I made 6 different variations yesterday. There were some crazy ones. I know, I'm sorry. This bowl got an absolute hammering yesterday. It was so funny. I'm like sort of like saying you had to be there. You know when you sort of have a friends have a night out and you can't make it and they're like, oh, it was amazing. Then you talk to another one, it's like, yeah, it was all right. In other news, the electric whisk, right? A lot of you guys tell me, Barry, it looks like an owl, right? I know my Barry Potter. My kids have got a toy with an owl and it's called Hedwig. Head whisk. In goes some caster sugar. We've also got to add pinch of salt. It's good for the step count. And we're also going to push in some butter that I have just softened in the microwave slightly. And now head whisk can plume its feathers. What do you think about it? An electric whisk is kind of like a handheld car wash. All right, so thanks head whisk. We could go to a slightly higher speed as we just cream it together, make sure that sugar's fully incorporated. All right, so we get that in and it kind of looks like a badly mixed omelette. This is my life, I'm just rubbing the surface of an Oreo biscuit. So normally when I make biscuits, I would use like plain flour, and that's absolutely fine. But I thought to myself, there's a rough texture when you eat into an Oreo. It's kind of like, not a gritty texture, but like kind of like slightly more coarse. And that's when I realized it's made with wholemeal flour, AKA wheat flour. How do I know that? It says it on the ingredients, and this does make a massive difference. But this is wheat flour, which is actually really common in baking. But the good thing is about doing this again, because I lost the footage yesterday, don't know if I told you. What I found was that this particular variety was quite coarse, right? So if I just shimmy a little bit through here like this, you're left with quite a lot of rough wheat in there. But if you just sort of scrape it through, because then you end up with a super fine wheat flour. Because one of the batches of dough I did yesterday, I didn't sieve it through at first, and it kind of looked, after we made it all together, despite the cocoa powder in there, like it had like a Oreo version of chicken pox or something. So not good, too speckly. All right, so all we do is add that sieved flour in here, and that is gonna considerably dry it. Take head whisk. So I can make these golden ones. I divided the batter up. I only want a small amount of those, so I'm gonna add a bit more vanilla to this. I'm not going to need all of this, just a little bit of plain flour. I'm going to use head whisk on this one first so it doesn't get chocolatey. For this one, cocoa powder. So what you're trying to do is bring it together, if I just show you the other one, like a dough like this, where it's not sticky but just slightly tacky, okay? If it is too dry, add a little splash of milk. I didn't need to, but similarly, if it's too wet, add a bit more flour or cocoa powder. But not to that one. Now we wrap them. Squish it down slightly and shove it in your fridge for an hour. Just to give you some context, folks, it is nice. Oh my gosh, this is nice and firmed, and we're gonna roll it out on some baking parchment with some flour, and this is on a really thin setting, 1/16 of an inch. Because as we know, Oreos are thin, but that's the beauty of it. You can make them as thick as you want. So we're gonna cut it into shape. You can use a champagne flute glass thing, whatever it is, but we're not posh enough to have that. This is just a shot glass, much more our style. In here like so, little twisty twist, and you've got your piece of dough. Now this is a little utensil thing I've got with a stamp on, where this is where the benefit of chilling it comes in, because you can stamp the dough, okay? There we go, look at that, home baked. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I much prefer doing the shot glass approach. Remember, that's the benefit of putting it in the fridge. You can get loads of designs on it, scratch it with a fork, something like that. I've done jammy dodgers and bourbons and custard cream videos in the past where you can get stamps for that. And even the giant ones, when I made those, they're actually, the chilling it helps hold that shape. But But I've got like way too many here, and obviously you can recycle the dough. So I'm gonna get these discs onto a lined baking tray with a Barry Lewis baking mat. Why not? There we go, just like that. And remember, if you do use a stamp, keep it floured as well. I'm gonna put the chocolate equivalent on around about here. Boom, there we go. Keep these chilled while you preheat your oven. Now, this is the benefit of me actually doing a recipe in advance. It kind of goes like against the thing that my channel's ever been about, of like, I never rehearse a recipe. It's unscripted. I'm not like, there are some much larger channels where they put so much more effort, and I completely appreciate and respect that. I've been on TV shows where they have like home economists in the background making tons of recipes until it looks perfect. Yesterday was an absolute bomb site. Today I'm feeling much more confident, and hopefully that's when you see me attempting this, that yours is just a pristine kitchen. I know it's not, but it's fun, right? A messy kitchen, play with your food. I was gonna write like Oreo on Pat as a kind of like tribute to the lost video, but I thought then it would be like an unofficial brand deal always in my videos, so no. All right, in you go. I experimented with the baking times quite a bit, and remember, you got that snap of a biscuit. If you're making cookies, generally you're sort of around about the 8 to 10 minute mark, where also remember when it cools down, it's gonna firm up too. I found around about 13 minutes was the sweet spot. Now it's gonna help me by having the golden ones there, but if you're just doing the chocolate ones, you don't wanna burn them, so really do. I'd like to dedicate this scene to the person that commented, "You can't use that chopping board, that's a meat-only chopping board." Sorry. There are more important things to worry about in life. This is basically a block of fondant icing that you drench on a cake. Now, someone's suggestion was, don't make the filling at all. Get some of this and wedge this between your biscuits. Visually, although it's probably mostly Photoshop now, you can see how that would look absolutely stonking on packaging and merchandise, but in reality, that's just a whole, yeah. Just a disc of Christmas cake, isn't it? They're out of the oven now. I just transferred them onto a wire rack to fully cool down, so they're gonna firm up. Just to show you though, look how it's held that design in there. That is pretty cool. All right, so I'm not gonna do anything crazy other than use this chopping board. I mean, you can make them as fat as you want. Look at that. That is amazing. Now, similar to the oxidized thing, the biscuit will taste best as fresh as possible, but if we can leave these in an airtight container, tomorrow that filling will dry up slightly more and be even better, like proper from a factory with all the fructose syrup and all that crazy stuff. There we go, look at that. I think that looks blooming awesome. With the birthday cake one, I've got some of my filling that is slightly flattened, and here are some multicolored sprinkles, right? I have no idea how they do that in the factory, but they're pretty much embedded. What we can do, I don't know, in my opinion this looks more birthday version to me. We just sort of roll over any extra ones that are lying around. And that's pretty darn awesome. I've got to be honest, it is tempting for me to like perhaps rehearse my recipes. It does, like I say though, go against that charm of what I do. But it really does allow me to add like another layer of knowledge and give you like loads more hints and tips that even I've found. So good. Yeah, I've done all of them now, but just to show you, one of them I absolutely loaded the filling. Look at that, that's awesome. There we go, folks, look at that. This is probably going to be my thumbnail actually. Just like a weatherman when I put my sexy lens on. Top half only. That's a joke. I might have to cut that out. See? You got the snappage. I don't know about you, whenever I have an Oreo, that is the first thing I think about, is a good snappage. Do you know what it tastes like? It tastes like yesterday. That flour, I swear, has made, there's like a slight, we've nailed it, honestly. It's so good. And why would you like to make homemade Oreos, like I said at the start of the video? I don't know. But you're still here. So try them. There's something about making them homemade from scratch, that freshness. Nice little Christmas present. If you got me Oreos for Christmas, a bit different to pants and socks, isn't it? I wouldn't be disappointed. So thanks for watching. If you do try them, send me a photo on your social media platform of choice. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and make sure notifications are turned on. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
L-O-V-E is how you spell food. Gonna make some truffles to get you in the mood. To me, your support is smooth as silk. When I have my cereal, I pour on milk. If you got a food mixer, give it a whirl. I gotta let you know I'm still cooking in love with you, girl.
If you want, you could just make a massive one instead of like cutting it up into discs. Just bake a big one like I did at Centre Parks with my mates and you. Remember that? We went to Centre Parks this weekend and made a giant Oreo. Check that video out if you like, if you haven't seen it.
Be careful, this is 92,000 calories.
And I'll see you later. All right?
Nice.